are going to talk about downward facing dog. So we're going to start with Kim on her hands and knees. She's going to set her hands at a nice wide base, finger spread wide. And she's going to go ahead right away and tuck her toes and lift her hips up and come into the shape of downward facing dog. Okay, let's start at her hands and look at her foundation. Sometimes hands will puff up, and what we want to do is root down through the fingers and really press into the palms. And then start to take the inner creases of the elbows and spin them towards the front of the mat so that the shoulders broaden away from the ears and integrate onto the back of the body. All right, now let's look at her feet, the other part of her foundation. Her feet are at 12 o'clock with her heels lined up directly behind the middle of the balls of her feet. And she's reaching down through her heels to create a nice stretch on the back of her legs. Her knees can bend just a little bit, even while she's stretching her heels down, to create some space in her hamstrings so that she can lift her hips way up away from her hands. So this action of pulling the hips up away from the hands creates a nice long spine, which is what we're aiming for in this pose. A few other things to notice in the pose. Her belly is drawing in, Uddiyana Bandha, and her chest is moving towards her thighs, so there is a slight curve in the low back. That's natural. The other thing that's happening that you might not be able to see as well is she's taking her inner thighs and she's spinning them inward and strongly engaging her thigh muscles to press her leg bones back and take some of the weight out of her hands. So there's lots of action everywhere in her body in this pose. And this is downward facing dog.